Well, welcome back to the Prospect Hut, and hopefully you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. This is a video about one of the Mets' top prospects, and that's Brandon Sproat, who is really probably the Mets' next pitching prospect that's getting ready to get to the majors. There were all kind of rumors tonight that they were going to call him up soon. We'll keep an eye on that. He did not pitch well in his prior start, but he pitched well on Tuesday night. Went 6 innings, gave a 1 run, struck out 8. He was dominant against the Indianapolis Indians. And I'm in this video mesmerized at this article on him about where his season has been, because he's had a horrible start to the season, and he's pitched really well, turned around the last month and a half, 2 months. He's really turned it around, and of course he did not pitch well last year in AAA. So this is what they had to say, how Brandon Sproat turned his season around. Now, before we get into this video, you need to hit the subscribe button, like the video, of course, and let me know what you think about it. Brandon Sproat entered 2025 as the Mets' top pitching prospect and a top 100 prospect in baseball, but for the first 3 months of the season, he largely struggled. He struggled in AAA in 24 as well, after blowing through High A and AA, but was largely written off as fatigue from reaching his third level of the minor leagues in his first full season of professional baseball. When those struggles continued well into 2025, it sounded the alarms. Sproat tumbled off the top 100 prospect list and was passed by Nolan McLean and Jonah Tong. And his rankings of Jonah Tong and his, they screwed this up. They wrote this really badly. Then in his final start of June, things clicked. In 6 starts from June 28th to June 31st, Sproat gave up 2 earned runs in 33 innings, a 0.55 ERA. He struck out 39 while giving up just 16 hits and 11 walks. How did this happen? Well, it's funny you should mention it. I tried to find the answers in this article, which is already poorly written. Sproat's primary offering is his fastball. It's a hard one, regularly hitting 97 miles per hour and above. From what I understand, he's throwing 99 on Tuesday. But it's unspectacular. He gets poor induced vertical break on his 4-seam, resulting in it often playing worse than fastballs thrown much slower. To end last season, it did not perform great. It wasn't bad, with hitters recording a fine 336 xWOBA against it, but he didn't miss bats. Just 17 of the 121 fastballs that opposing hitters swung out resulted in a whiff, a mark of 14%. He struggled to induce swing and miss with his other pitches as well. The slider was his most used secondary and recorded the best quality of contact against any of his pitches, besides his sinker, which he threw 5 times, but also recorded just 13.3% whiff rate. He threw 70 sliders last year, had people offer added 30 times, and got just 4 swings and misses. And a lot of times it's deception too. Is he able to deceive the hitter? You know, that's also a thing you can't minimize, as I'm just reading this article as we go along. The change of sweeper and curveball all ran better whiff rates, but were all just around league average. None of them stood out as a big swing and miss pitch, and batters hit them hard when they did connect. As a result of all this, his strikeout rate plummeted once he reached AAA, striking out 32.4% of the hitters in High A and 33.2% of hitters in AA. He struck out just 16.3% of hitters in AAA. His batting average against and whip soared, leading to a 7.53 ERA over 7 starts at the level. Wow. In Sproat's first start of 2025, he allowed 3 hits, 3 walks, and 4 earned runs in 2 innings with 3 strikeouts. His ERA at the end of April stood at 5.48 and rose to 6.02 by the end of May. He then treaded water for most of June, sitting at 5.95 through his first 4 starts. The first thing that jumps out about his arsenal is the usage rate on his pitches. The sinker, which basically didn't exist in 24, flew up to his second most used pitch. It was good too, getting a 42.3% chase rate. The whiff rate was an outstanding at 14.9%, but that's often not the intent being behind throwing a sinker. The purpose is to generate weak contact and ground balls. The rest of the arsenal lagged behind. His four-seam velocity was down almost a full mile per hour from where it was in 2024. And he got similar chase rates, whiff rates, and quality of contact. He threw his four-seam much less than it did in 2024 because of the sinker. In 2024, Sprout threw 52.8% fastballs, with 51.7% of them being four-seamers. From the start of 25 to June 22nd, he threw 28.5% four-seamers and 21.3% sinkers, so 49.8% fastballs. His fastball usage mostly stayed the same. He just threw two different variations instead of primary one. Secondaries all performed poorly. None of the sweeper, slider, changeup, or curveball produced good chase or whiff rates, and for the most part, all allowed mediocre to below average quality of contact metrics. Sprout struck out just 15.5% of batters over his first 15 games and starts and 62 innings, which was the ninth worst of 86 AAA pitchers to record at least 200 plate appearances from the start of 25 to June 22nd. Wow. Now, what changed? In Sprout's final start of June, he threw 6 scoreless innings while allowing 2 hits and 3 walks while striking out 6. It wasn't perfect, but it was easily his best start of the season to that point. He just 2 scoreless outings in his previous 15 games and struck out 6 just once. The Diamonds continued into July. He followed up his final June start with 4 or 5 outings without giving up an earned run, surrendering his only 2 runs of the 6-game stretch in a 5-inning 2-run shown on July 25th. Here's velocity is what jumped off the page after averaging 96.7 miles per hour on the four-seam, then 24, and 95.9% through his first 15 starts of 2025. Sprout averaged 97.3 miles per hour on his four-seam from June 28th to July 31st. I would mention again, he threw 99 tonight on Tuesday. The only one of his pitches that didn't gain velocity was his changeup, which averaged 90.3 miles per hour, opposed to the previous 90.4 miles per hour. The sinker usage dropped a bit, going from 21 to 13%. The sweeper was great, and while hitters didn't chase it a ton, they still swung and missed enough to be effective. What stands out here is the quality of contact against this pitch. When hitters did connect, which was a paltry 0.0069. Overall, it was a triumphant stretch for Sprout. His velocity returned to what people are accustomed to seeing from him, and as a result, all of his pitches performed better. A lot of edits in this article. Not only were the secondary strong on their own, but a high-quality heater also helps the secondary offerings play better off of it. Strikeout rate jumped from 16.3% to 15.5% in his first 15 starts. On the season, his ground ball rate is 50.4%, a big jump from the already 46.8%. Why has he struggled again in his first 2 starts? Well, he pitched well tonight. Pitched well on Tuesday. I've seen little bits and pieces of him on SNY. He throws very hard. And according to the article, there are a few things to keep an eye on, like his small velocity regression. But it's a 2-game sample size they didn't mention tonight. That's the biggest thing for Sprout. Consistency. The version of Sprout we've seen June 28th is a top 100 caliber prospect. But he's only been that pitcher for about a quarter of his starts this year. If he can finish 2025 strong and start 26 the same way, it'll be huge for his prospect outlook. If his velocity dips and he struggles again, sounding alarms. I don't know about that, but he is a guy that the Mets have thought of very highly for a long time. They drafted him twice. They drafted him in 2022. He didn't sign. And then they drafted him the following year, in a round earlier from the year before. So the Mets are very high on him. And the thing about him is that he came from a big program in Florida when the Mets drafted him. He's a 4-year college player, which is unusual that players are drafted 4 years in college. Usually players get drafted after the 3rd year. And he is drafted after the 4th year. Because when the Mets couldn't make a deal with him, it didn't work out. They basically let him pitch another year in Florida, and he got more experience, more innings under his belt, and he had the Mets waited for him again in 2023 to draft him. Now, he is an interesting case because he could have a higher pitch count than, say, Nolan McLean has, or obviously Jonathan has. So the Mets decide to call him up, and I believe they're going to call him up. I think the next best step the Mets need to do is get rid of Brian Stanek, DFA him, release him, do whatever they have to do to get him out of here, get him off the 40-man roster, put Clay Holmes in the bullpen, cut down on his innings, and put Sproat in the rotation. Now, people have said that he can also be a high-end, a back end of the bullpen kind of guy, that he can come in late in the game. And Nolan McLean too. Nolan McLean probably more than Sprout, but that's what I've read, and that's been sort of the scan report on both of them. Although McLean could be more of a closer than Sprout could be in terms of their stuff, but very talented kid. He could be maybe a number 3 starter, maybe even better than that, maybe a number 2 starter. McLean, I don't know. His development is different because he was a two-way player up until last year, so his development could jump exponentially. We've seen that with Carson Benj also, that his development has gone through the roof since he gave up being a pitcher. So you let me know what you think about this video, and of course I'll have more stuff on the Mets prospects, so you need to subscribe, and thank you, and I'll see you later.